G'day guys, how's it going? I'm Aaron Whitnall. This is ACWSport, and what a start we have had to the 2017-2018 Champions League campaign. There were goals everywhere, the big names were out to play, and there were some great results in there as well, especially for the British teams. Now, I was very lucky this week. I actually got to go to Manchester United versus Basel at Old Trafford, and then on the Wednesday night, I got to go to Wembley to witness Tottenham versus Borussia Dortmund, which is where I want to start because Spurs have finally ended their Wembley hoodoo. And this was a fantastic game. Dortmund, especially in the first half, really took control of the possession. But that only came after a blistering opening 15 minutes with three of the best goals we're going to see this entire Champions League campaign. Spurs got the ball rolling on the goal front with a fantastic strike from Son after only 4 minutes. And it was funny being in the stadium. There was a bit of a delayed reaction to the celebration from the fans. Almost because I don't think anyone could believe it actually gone for it, really, because it was such a tight angle. And normally when Son in the past has got into those kind of positions, you would normally expect him to try and cut it back. But also because of who he was playing, I think a few Spurs fans thought the attack might have come to an end there and he was going to be held up. But fantastic start for Spurs from Son there. I mean, wonderful, wonderful strike. But that was then topped by Yarmolenko's absolute perler, top bins. Dortmund fired back straight away. And, it was a little bit of a worry because you thought to yourself, all right, Spurs caught Dortmund on the counter-attack really well. But did that just annoy Dortmund? Are they really going to wake up now that Spurs have scored? But no, Harry Kane really stepped up to the mark and proved that, once again, he is a world-class striker, one of the absolute best in the world. And I do genuinely believe Harry Kane could play in any team in the world, whether it's Barca, Real, obviously Spurs, or any other British team as well. He is right up there for me with the world's absolute elite strikers. And he showed that with the two goals that he got. The first one, he did so well to bully two defenders off the ball to then get to it. And kind of like Son, you thought to yourself, he's taking it a bit too far wide to get a shot off. But no, it was just an incredible shot. No keeper would have stood a chance against it. Caught the keeper up against the near post. And Spurs were 2-1 up. And, I mean, it was just the most amazing first 15 minutes. Three of the best goals, like I said, that we'll probably see all campaign. From there, the rest of the first half, Dortmund did take control, especially from a possession point of view. They were unlucky because, they did create some good opportunities. So did Spurs. But then in the second half, for me, even though Dortmund should have had a goal allowed, which they had disallowed, Aubameyang scored a perler himself that was, unfortunately ruled out when it shouldn't have been, which would have brought the game to 2-2, which of course would have made it a different game. But for me, Spurs were good for the win at Wembley. Kane then scored again, and Tottenham created the better chances overall throughout the game, and that is why I think Tottenham deserve to win this game. It's a fantastic start for them in a very, very tough group. This is the kind of win they needed to get that Wembley hoodoo off their backs, and maybe this could be the season that Spurs under Pochettino really do well in Europe, because last year they were disappointing. They were given a really tough draw here, but I believe Tottenham will get through. I said it in my predictions, and this game was one of the games they needed to win in order to do that. I'm not sure how they're going to do against Madrid, but to be honest with you, as long as they do well against APOEL and Dortmund, doesn't really matter. I think Spurs will get second place and go through to the knockout phases of the Champions League. But what a start for them at Wembley. Same can't really be said for Liverpool, though. Very disappointing night for them at Anfield, drawing 2-2 at home to Sevilla. Sevilla taking an early lead, and it's just the same old story for Liverpool. They're blistering going forward and so exciting to watch. Salah and Mane are brilliant. And, Salah's goal, you look at the determination there to win that ball back. It's got to be so great to watch that as a Liverpool fan, to see there's someone that is, so determined to win that ball back once he's lost it and then get a quick shot off and score, what was a fortunate goal because of the deflection. But the defending's just all over the shot from Liverpool. They just can't see games out, even if they control them. And, Klopp, in the January transfer window now, he's got to bring in some defenders if he's going to really push for the Premier League and also the Champions League moving forward, because against the bigger teams, they're going to get ripped apart. Just like Karabakh were at Stamford Bridge by a big team. Chelsea had the easiest kind of run when it came to getting back into the Champions League, because they just didn't really have much of a game up against them. They even handed out some debuts. Zappacosta with the best, worst cross you will ever see. Phenomenal goal, but he definitely didn't mean it, that's for sure. But still, can't take it away from him. What a way to score on your debut. But yeah, really easy game for Chelsea to, find their feet back in the Champions League again. The real test is going to come over the next 21 days. I think they've got like 7 games in 21 days or something like that. So this is where we're really going to see how good Chelsea are and if they are really going to be able to mount not just an attempt for the Premier League again, but also for the Champions League as well this season. But perfect start for them. Not really too much more you can say on the game because it was almost like a training match for them. Manchester City, normally they struggle in Europe. They haven't done very well under quite a few managers now in Europe, but they picked up a fantastic result away at Feyenoord, blowing the Dutch champions away 4-0 in their own backyard. John Stones with 2 goals as well, and that's got to bring the world of confidence to Stones. I really do hope, being an Englishman, that Stones can fulfil his potential that everyone says he has, and I think there are definitely glimpses there. But 2 great goals for him. Good to see him with some proper defenders' goals there, big headers. But City just blew Feyenoord away. Perfect start for them in a ground in the past they would have struggled in, because we've seen them struggle at places like Ajax and that before. So great start for Pep, and yeah, let's see what City can really do this season in Europe. Manchester United, I was lucky enough to be at Old Trafford. It was a really easy game for them. They didn't really have to get out of second gear, to be honest with you. Basel were very poor. They got forward a few times, but that was about it. A couple of half chances, nothing major. And yeah, they just made it easy for United, sticking all 11 men behind the ball. United had to be a bit patient in order to actually break Basel down. Unfortunately, I think the biggest blow for United will be that Pogba went off injured. There's a possibility he could be out for the next 6 weeks, which is a massive blow for them. But Fellaini came on and did a fantastic job. And you can really see Mourinho's installed some confidence in him because, like I said, he was tidy when he came on. One of the man of the matches for me. Took his goal well as well. And, did a solid job in that midfield alongside Matic. Now, obviously, United are going to have harder tests in this Champions League campaign. Maybe not in the group stage. I think they'll walk this group. But, 3 really good goals, really easy goals. And the perfect night for them, just kind of like Chelsea had, to get back into the Champions League at Old Trafford. Lukaku on the score sheet yet again. I think that's something like 10 goals in 6 games for him now this season, if you include the international duty. So perfect start for him. And of course, Marcus Rashford scored on yet another debut. I think that's now Premier League debut, Europa League debut, Manchester Derby debut, League Cup debut, England debut, and now Champions League debut. Now, the thing that I love about Rashford, and look, I know obviously being English, I'm going to be excited about him. I think everyone in England is. But everyone is talking about people like Dembele, who's just gone to Barcelona for 135 million, being 20 years old. Kylian Mbappe, going to PSG, 166 million, very early 20s as well. All the hype's on them. But Rashford is quietly and very humbly going about his business. And look, don't get me wrong, I think Dembele and Mbappe are going to be superstars, but I don't see why there's no reason that Rashford can't be as well. And I'm going to be really excited to see just how well he can do this season in the Champions League. Now, he is in the big time, just like Lukaku is. Now, the same, unfortunately, can't be said for Celtic, who were really shown how, I suppose, weak the Scottish League is by going up against PSG. Now, don't get me wrong, I know PSG are going to blow away most teams in the Champions League, but at Celtic Park, in a place where we've seen so much atmosphere and Celtic put in strong performances against the big boys, PSG just ripped them apart. Neymar was brilliant, Cavani was brilliant, Mbappe was brilliant. They all scored, and yeah, they flexed their muscles. But I think it does show Celtic that as much as Celtic are a big team in terms of following and stature around the world, and yeah, you're going to dominate the Scottish League every single year because you're Celtic. But in Europe, you're just not. Don't get me wrong, I think you guys get Europa League, and I think you can make a really good go of that. I really do. But I think it's just proven that you're not anywhere near the same league as any of the big boys in Europe, which is a shame, because obviously I want Celtic to be, because obviously it's a British club, but they're just not. But I think that says a lot about Scottish football. So it was a real shame. Easy performance for PSG. I can't wait to see them play Bayern. Now, the other 2 major games that I want to talk about, first of all, Real Madrid versus APOEL. Now, don't get me wrong, walk in the park for Real Madrid. They were always going to win this game. But it's Ronaldo. I just cannot find the words to describe how much I love watching him and Lionel Messi when he's playing for Barca play, because they're just on another planet to anyone else. Now, Ronaldo, I think it's now 89 Champions League goals, 89 Champions League games, 91 Champions League goals, which is just out of this world amazing. And then when you look at the fact that, for example, he's now scored more goals than Manchester United have scored in the Champions League over the last 9 years. That just shows you how phenomenal he is as an individual player. And I don't get me wrong, I know United have had a couple of years where they haven't been in Europe, but Manchester United are one of the world's superpowers when it comes to football teams. And the fact that Ronaldo has outscored them in Europe says an awful lot about his incredible ability. And I think one thing to really take away from him, if you're a young player, is his determination. He's the most determined footballer on the planet, without a shadow of a doubt. And when you look at the fact he got a brace, all right, he had that miss from like a yard out, which I think no one could believe. But when he scored his hat-trick to get that double, he picked up the ball and he ran straight back to the halfway line because he wanted that hat-trick. And that is something that should be so respected from everyone. He's just on another level when it comes to determination. And any young strikers that are out there watching this, or watching that game, or watching the highlights, take that to note, all right? You're only going to be the best if you've got that much determination. He wasn't happy that he got a brace. He wanted a hat-trick. Unfortunately, it didn't fall his way that night. But I think the thing that helps him, and the thing that helps keep him determined, just like it keeps Messi determined, is the fact they have each other to compete against. Because Messi and Barcelona tore Juventus apart. I thought this would be a close game, but it wasn't really. Messi finally has scored against Gigi Buffon, and that's now 516 career goals for Messi at a competitive level, which is just mind-boggling. For me, Messi and Ronaldo are the two greatest players we have ever seen play, but the thing that really helps is that they do have each other. All right, Messi, you can see that the fact Ronaldo's taken the awards the last couple of years, Real Madrid have been doing so well. He's come out with a bit between his teeth this season. You know, he's got 7 goals in his first 4 games, got a hat-trick in the derby, was very unlucky to not have a hat-trick against Juve because he hit the inside of the post. But that in itself, Messi coming out with a bit between his teeth has now motivated Ronaldo as well, because Ronaldo, I think it is now 3 goals in 3 games, but you could see Ronaldo was desperate for that hat-trick, and that's because Messi had done so well the night before, in my opinion. And it's just wonderful to see those two playing together. So, you know, I can't wait to see who comes out on top over the course of this year at club level, and hopefully they both get to the World Cup and we get to see them go at it on the international stage, maybe for the last time. But yeah, great result for Barcelona against a very, very big club in Juventus. Big statement of intent for them moving forward. They've made an amazing start to the season, despite the troubles they had in the summer with the Neymar transfer and then losing to Madrid in the Super Cup. Because they haven't conceded yet with 4 games in, and they've scored plenty of goals. As for the kind of other major results I wanted to talk about, Bayern Munich at home to Anderlecht. You'd very much expect the 3-0 scoreline that it ended up being. Solid performance from Bayern. They were a little bit sloppy at times. They let Anderlecht have 1 or 2 chances, but you could just tell that they were in control, really. And if they needed to go up a gear, they could have, that's for sure. So easy result for Bayern there. The big test will be when they play PSG, which I can't wait for. Leipzig versus Monaco, very interesting game. I predicted it would be a draw, and it turned out to be a draw. Leipzig proving that even though Monaco have lost 1 or 2 of their stars, that they can compete with some of Europe's best teams. Tielemans with his first goal for Monaco, very exciting prospect. I'm looking forward to seeing how well he does for Monaco. And as for the other major result I wanted to talk about, when you look at Roma versus Atletico in Chelsea's group, how Atletico didn't win that game is beyond me. Roma looked second best all throughout, and Atletico just couldn't get the ball in the back of the net. But it's going to be out of them and Chelsea for me, who finishes top and second in that group. Roma for me will get the Europa League spot. Anyway, they are all the kind of major talking points from week 1 of the Champions League that I wanted to talk about myself. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of the opening week of the Champions League? What are the major talking points for you? You know, what was your favourite goal? What was your favourite result? And what are your predictions for the group stage moving forward? Please comment below, let me know. As always, I'm Aaron Whitnall. This is ACWSport. Please don't forget to drop me a subscribe, and I'll be back tomorrow with my predictions for week 5 of the Premier League season.